It is time for Tuesdays with Tiki as we welcome in Tiki Barber. And Tiki, Tyrod Taylor provided a bit of a spark for the Giants in the second half with that 69-yard touchdown pass. So who do you think Brian Daboll should start against the Rams?
It's a hard call because I don't think that Tommy DeVito did anything necessarily wrong in this game, but it did feel like there was just a pall over this team in the first half and nothing really could get going. And so he turns to Tyrod Taylor, who throws the same amount of passes. They each had 16 attempts and he completed 2 less, but he did have the big play. I think the veteran nature of Tyrod gives him a little bit of an advantage in a game that I think the Giants want to win. You know, some people will talk about it's all about draft positioning at this point of the season. The season's lost, the playoff hopes are gone. But when you're a young head coach like Brian Daboll is, he's not young, but you know what I mean, in the second year, you always want to win. You want to keep pushing that culture of winning. And so I think Tyrod Taylor gives him the best chance right now.
You mentioned draft positioning, and back before Tommy DeVito became Tommy Cutlets and the passing Paisano, there was talk around town of the Giants possibly drafting Caleb Williams or Drake May. That's probably not going to happen now, but how do you expect Joe Schoen to address the quarterback position this offseason?
Well, I mean, those guys are going to go in the top 4 or 5, and I think the Giants are right on the edge of doing that. But after committing so much money to Daniel Jones this past offseason, $40 million a year, I don't think it makes sense to bail so quickly and go draft his successor in the first round. With that being said, though, I think the quarterback position will be heavily stacked in free agency, and maybe even some of those second-round quarterbacks like Michael Penix from Washington State or J.J. McCarthy from Michigan, if they should fall and be available when the Giants are drafting in the second round, not the first, then maybe that'll be an issue. Look, I think they're going to try to re-sign Tyrod Taylor. If not, there are some other free agents out there. Ryan Tannehill will likely be free. Gardner Minshew, who's doing good things in Indianapolis, he's a free agent as well. So they'll bring in competition, but I still think it's going to be between Daniel Jones and whoever the backup is. They're going to give him every chance to continue to be the starter here.
All right, we'll keep the quarterback theme going, but jump over to the Jets. And we heard from Robert Saleh earlier in the show saying no regrets on not signing Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco says he has no hard feelings towards the Jets. But Tiki, you know Jet fans, you know the New York media. So how would you rate the potential for embarrassment if Flacco lights up the Jets on Thursday?
Well, I mean, it could be high because Joe Flacco has been playing his butt off these last 3 weeks. He's had 300 yards, but he's also thrown a lot of interceptions. Look, Joe had 9 starts as a Jet. He only won 1 of those games. So it's not as if you're missing this great winning quarterback from a Jet perspective. He did have a phenomenal career prior, obviously. And right now, when you watch him at Cleveland, why is he having so much success? It's because he has Amari Cooper at wide receiver and David Njoku, guys who, for whatever reason, have a strong trust in him. And he's playing like a true, aged gunslinger. You can just imagine him with a cowboy hat and, a 6-shooter on his hip. He's just firing them. That's why he has 5 interceptions over the last couple of weeks, but he also has 6 or 7 touchdowns, and they've won, both those games. So, yeah, there is that potential, but I think the Jets defensively can get to him, especially if he's going to play as free and loose as he has in the last couple of weeks for the Cleveland Browns.
Well, Tiki, Flacco has thrown 10 touchdowns in 4 games, the same number Jet quarterbacks have thrown all season long. Tiki Barber, thanks for joining us here on Honda Sports Night.